Okay, so this 12 bar blues will be in A, and we'll use the full bar chords, and we'll start on the sixth string. And I think it's really important to be able to play just a 1-4-5 12 bar blues in time. And a lot of people take it for granted, or I think get overconfident that they could do it because there is an endurance factor with the bar chords, and then there's also just the ability to play through the progression multiple times and not get the fatigue or start slipping with your timing. All right, so we'll start with this 12 bar blues in A using dominant 7 chords, and it'll be the full bar variety, and that's so that we can work on some endurance with the left hand, work on subdividing in 12/8. So we'll just play simple dotted quarter notes. So I have the metronome set for 50 for the dotted quarter. I would suggest you subdivide it, so your eighth note would be 150 in this case. And there are a couple of things that you want to be aware of. I always talk about hand position because that's a big deal, what your thumb is doing on the back of the neck, and that you're getting the front part of your wrist forward enough to get every string to ring clearly. And I also notice that this bar chord on the sixth string, this dominant 7 chord, you can slide it anywhere, just like a power chord or a bar chord. And your sixth string, your first finger is the root note. So 5th fret, A7. Now, if you slide this down and you get rid of the bar, there's your E7 chord. So all we're doing is taking an open position chord, moving it up, and adding the bar. So our 4 chord in this key, A, B, C sharp, D, our 4 chord is D, D7, and again, if we slide this down and get rid of the bar, that's our A7. So we're just sliding it up, adding the bar. And then in this exercise, we'll just slide that 4 chord up to our 5 chord. So the root is on the 5th string, right? So 1, 4, 5. And when you stare down at your hand, this will be important later when you start improvising and playing over this. Any of these notes in the chord are fair game when you're soloing. You can play any note from an underlying chord and it will sound right because it's reflected in the underlying harmony. So we'll get into that later, but you can see why there are a lot of important things in just knowing these 3 chords and be able to transition between them. If you are the rhythm player and you drop a beat or you go to the 4 chord or the 5 chord too quickly, or you lop off the turnaround, you're hanging the lead player out there because they're expecting that you're going to be at a certain place at a certain time. So it's really important that you can make these changes in time. And I'll play through this exercise and then I'll repeat it. I don't know, maybe just twice, maybe 3 times, because this will serve a purpose later on when we start improvising and playing over these chords. But for right now, we're just working on playing in time, seeing the root note on each string, and making the transitions. Okay, so here we go. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. Okay, so all we're trying to do here is make the changes in time. We're not trying to do anything fancy with the rhythm, none of the spread fingering stuff or any of the rhythms. We'll do that in a couple of the videos. It's just about making the changes in time, getting to the right chord at the right time, and starting to get familiar with the chord progression, what to do with your hand position, and recognize the root note on each string. So if you're having a hard time with this, and you'll feel this through your first finger and your thumb and maybe in your palm a little because you're holding these bar chords. But remember, thumb about that part of the neck. You don't want your palm crazy up. You want that spacing. And notice I've got my elbow in at my side. And I'm taking my wrist and I'm dropping it and pushing it forward. That's going to help you get the pressure you need. All right, so practice that one, and we'll start moving around in some different keys in a little bit. You're free to, I'll show you some variations, but I would suggest that you start moving it around in different parts of the neck. What you want to see is this is your 1 chord. Right above it in the same fret is your 4 chord. Move it up 2 frets. That's your 5 chord. So 1, 4, 5. 1, 4, 5. 1, 4, 5. 1, 4, 5. You'll start to recognize that pattern in those movements. All right, have fun, and I'll see you in a little bit.